I think it's always a gap between these two things, like bringing the migrants and putting them into the job market itself. Having work rights, having people here in Australia, that will not solve the problem. Directing them to the right market, right jobs, and showing them at least a good pathway to the jobs will be the key for the country's growth, overall growth, and that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Okay, do you want to say something before you go to all the migrants community who are in Australia, overseas, listening to you, and any piece of advice, please go ahead.
Okay. If there's anything I would say about migrants either making their move to Australia or maybe commencing or in the early start of their journey here, you know, I, what I've provided you is different tips and tricks of what I've tried, and the way that I've got this is not because people have taught me a certain process. There's a lot of these things I've gone and observed. I've listened to other people. Then I've taken these concepts and I made these concepts my own. How would it's going to work for me? Then I can apply it. And I think that's what everyone needs to do as well. It's not about copying what I did and expecting the same results or copying what someone else's did and trying to get, you kind of embrace the ideology behind each of these different concepts, whether it's about, interview skills or whether it's about, your mindset and keeping your mental health strong. The ideology is important. How you're going to make it work for you is completely up to you. And you need to do it, do what makes sense to you. The concepts are important, the ideology is important, but you got to make it your own. At the end of the day, think about your point of difference. If you fall into that space where there's a high demand, but there's also high supply, then you have a lot of competition that you're going to face. Competition is okay, but what's your point of difference? What's your differentiation strategy that's going to make you stand out? You have to be doing something different. I'll end with this quote. You can't do the same thing the same way and expect a different outcome. So that's the definition of insanity, right? So let's just keep in mind that we can't do the same thing the same way expecting that will be a different outcome. You've got to change the way that you approach things if you want a different outcome.